In Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXALE, one of the more important sets of monsters in the show were the so-called number monsters, a set of a huge number of Xyz monsters which all had a certain number in its name, and were the basis of the numeron code which served to unravel the history of the second half of the protagonist, that being Astral. And today we'll be looking at all of the number monsters. And yes, I technically do know that the bigger number of number monsters we've already covered in other archetypes, which also can happen to be containing number monsters as part of the archetype. And those will be simply skipped over, and you will be promptly redirected to watch said videos in order to catch up if you haven't done so already. And yeah, since this archetype analysis consists of 156 cards, just like the hero video, we'll be skimming over most of the monster lineup, because let's face it, we're talking about over 100 Xyz monsters, which are rarely ever connected in terms of gameplay, and only the back row will be getting the standard archetype analysis treatment. So it's time to start off. Oh yeah, by the way, numbers were used by numerous users in the show, and listing them all here would simply be redundant, since the number monsters are the pivotal plot point of Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXALE itself. Anyway, let us start with the numbers, and we will be starting with a skip fest, because we're starting off with the 0 number lineup. Future number 0, Utopic Future Slash, Utopic Future Dragon, and Shining number 0, Utopic ZEXALE, all belong in the Utopic Onomatopia archetype, which I've covered a bit of a time ago. Yeah, I think it's about to be a year, if it's not already been a year since I've covered those. So yeah, go watch those videos. And yeah, the same thing can be said about numbers 1, Chaos number 1, 2, 3, and 4, which belong in the Numeron archetype, the newly formed Numeron archetype, which that review is a bit more recent. But yeah, these 4 number monsters were the last numbers to remain anime exclusive until very recently. So yeah. And now we have the lineup of monsters that are called fake numbers. Yeah, those are basically insect slash pest monsters, which were wielded by Mr. Heartland and his associates. And we only have 2 of them as of now adapted into the real game. The first of which is Cicada King, which is the first monster we'll be looking at properly due to it not being associated with any archetype. So Cicada King essentially replaced one of the monsters that we'll be taking a look at in this video as the go-to Xyz monster for insect decks. And yeah, it certainly breathes new life into insect-based decks, and it's very welcome in Insectors due to them running a lot of level 3 monsters. So yeah. The other fake number is number 4, Stealth KRAGEN, which is part of the KRAGEN archetype, which I already took a look at, so we're going to skip it. Then we have number 5, Doom Chimera Dragon, which is a gimmicky rank 5 monster, which is actually very unique, because just like the upcoming Starving Venomy Dragon, it was released after its upgraded form, which is Chaos number 5, Chaos Chimera Dragon. But it gets even more interesting than that, because Chimera Dragon, the Chaos Chimera Dragon, the Chaos version appeared in the anime while the original one didn't. Chaos Chimera Dragon was used by Vector in Yu-Gi-Oh! ZEXALE, and yeah, he used it. He used to summon it by using the rank up magic Admiration of the Thousands, and he also used the Fallen Barian Chaos numbers, which we'll get to a bit later in the video. But yeah, overall better than the original Doom Chimera Dragon, but not by much, since we are talking about rank 6, rank up magic rank 6, which does not have a dedicated archetype to it. So yeah. Then we have number 6 and Chaos number 6, which all fall under the Chronomaly archetype, which I took a look at a really long time ago, so check out that video. Number 7, Lucky Strike, has the potential to become a biggest beat stick in terms of how many attack points it can gain, although it is the textbook definition of a gamble card since all of its effects are related on dice tossing. Next up, we have number 8, Heraldic King, Gene of Heritage, which is a part of the Heraldic Beast archetype, which I also took a look at in the very early days of archetype analysis. Number 9, Dyson Sphere, makes us sad that the true King of all calamities is now banned. Its Chaos version is slightly better, but not by much, although it enjoys some rank 10 support due to it being, of course, a rank 10. Number 10, Illuminite, is a card I would consider really good if it required one less level 4 monster in order to be summoned. Number 11, Big Eye, reminds us of the glory days of the Dragon Rulers. Number 12, Crimson Shadow Armor Ninja, is a part of the Ninja archetype, which I took a look at quite some time ago. Number 13, Embodiment of Crime, is a two-part of one of the most formidable rank 1 builds to ever grace the game. We'll be taking a look at the other part pretty soon. Number 14, Greedy Saramea, is an unexpected counter to Trickstars, which nobody really thought of back when they made it. Number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, is a part of the Gimmick Puppet archetype as well as its Chaos version. Then number 16, Shockmaster, has been banned ever since he was released, and that should say enough about his power output. Number 17, Leviathan Dragon, was among the first number Xyz monsters ever to grace the game, and among the very first Xyz monsters period to grace the game. And back then it wasn't that bad, but nowadays it definitely begs for some improvement. Number 18, Heraldry Patriarch, belongs to the Heraldic Beast archetype, which I already took a look at, just like I mentioned before. Number 19, Freezer Dawn, is a bit of an odd case because I actually remember him spending some time on the ban list, although I do not believe it to be true, and I believe it to be a Mandela effect, because this effect is, I see how it could have been impactful back when he was released, but given the fact that this is a rank 5 dinosaur monster of all things, it does not matter in the long run, because the modern Xyz monsters usually don't tend to use up much Xyz materials, if any. Number 20, GIGA-BRILLIANTE, is the monster that Cicada King successfully replaced in toolboxes of Xyz spam insect decks. Number 21, Frozen Lady Justice, is a gimmicky sandwich rank up, or the top up rank up, however you want to call it, where you summon the monster without using a rank up magic by simply stack up. Yeah, that's what the official term is. But yeah, it's a gimmicky attack gaining effect, and the other effect to blow up all defense position monster isn't getting relevant anytime soon. The number 22, Zombiestein, is by far the highest ranking rank 8 monster in terms of sheer attack point value at 4,500, and I absolutely adore his gimmick from the manga where he cannot harm female monsters. That's just amazing, top tier monster design there, Konami. Then number 23, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld, is an okay rank 8, but it would be a lot better if its effects weren't mandatory. Number 24, Dragulus, the Vampiric Dragon, is not a vampire card despite its cool design, because it requires rank 6 monsters, although the new vampire support can easily bring him out, although it pains me to say that this thing is a worm monster instead of a dragon type monster. So yeah, it's a fine card. So yeah, if you run a vampire deck, I guess running one as an experiment couldn't hurt. Number 25, Force Focus, is a decent effect negator, although it's a rank 6, which is a bit too hard to bring out, but has decent attack points to compensate. Number 26, Spaceway Octo Bypass, is an interesting rank 3 psychic type monster, which weren't quite a thing before Chronomaly Crystal Chrononauts. So yeah, it can definitely be a fun little first turn option, or first monster you go into in dedicated rank 3 builds. Number 27, Dreadnought is a card I took a look at in the Train archetype analysis, so take a look at that video first. Number 28, Titanic Moth is embarrassingly low when it comes to the usefulness of the monster, because this is just unacceptable. It's among the only rank 7 insect monsters in the existence. So yeah, insect decks are really screwed when it came to rank 7 monsters. Number 29, Mannequin Cat is very popular rank 2 due to the sheer amount of trolling or straight up combo gaining it can actually provide to you. Not to mention the very impressive 2000 attack it has for our rank 2. Number 30, Acid Golem of Destruction used to have a very underwhelming OTK built around it, but nowadays it's not very impressive at all. And number 31, Embodiment of Punishment, is the second half of the most formidable rank 1 build to ever greet the game, along with 13. And yeah, it used to be very good, but nowadays it's not nearly as impressive as it used to be due to the game speeding up immensely. Number 32, Shark Drake, is a number monster I took a look at in the yesterday's archetype analysis, which is the Shark archetype, as well as its Chaos version. Number 33, Chronomaly Machu belongs to the Chronomaly archetype. Number 34, TERROR-BYTE is again a gimmicky defense position control thing monster, which I honestly do not recommend. Number 35, Ravenous Tarantula, is the part of the Sin archetype, the Sin series of Xyz monsters, which are a series of 4 spiders, which serve a great purpose in stack up Xyz summoning or stack up ranking up, since you can basically summon one on top of the other, and it sees most consistent play in rank 10 trains or gimmick puppets, to my knowledge. So yeah, the Tarantula is usually the one you summon first and then you summon all the other ones on top of it. Number 36, Chronomaly Chateau Hayek, is part of the Chronomaly archetype again, so take a look at that video. Number 37, Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark, and that name is not getting any shorter, is also a part of the Shark archetype, which I took a look at yesterday. Number 38 is the Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy, is part of the Galaxy archetype. So again, a video which I already made earlier. And then we have a whole lot of Utopia monsters, which of course are part of the Utopia archetype. So yeah, take a look at that. And after all of the Utopias comes number 40, which is also part of the Gimmick Puppet archetype, as well as its Chaos version, so Gimmick Puppet of Strings and Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings. And yeah, it's among the better boss monsters in said archetype. Number 41, Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir, is actually a very interesting stun card, and it actually sees plays in Lunolite decks. And that is both to my joy, because the stun effect is actually pretty powerful, and to my displeasure until you look at the Rule 34 page for Lunolite Leo Dancer. Then next up we have number 42, Galaxy Tomahawk, which is actually a very formidable rank 7, which is currently banned, so that should say everything about it. And it was banned at the start of the Link era, so yeah, you know. Next up is number 43, Manipulator of Souls, which is basically a very gimmicky number card. Yeah, I'm using the word very gimmicky in this video. I noticed that a lot, because yeah, the only number I can actually see this thing being comboed with is Chronomaly Atlantis, and that monster is not a hard staple in that deck. So yeah, not to mention this thing requires 3 level 2 dark monsters in order to be summoned. So yeah, it's very specific. Its Chaos version is a bit better, but again, that requires that you run the original in a rank up magic. So yeah, I'm gonna pass. Number 44, Sky Pegasus, is embarrassingly bad due to the fact that it does provide a good effect, but at the cost of the opponent being able to negate it by doing by paying life points, which is one of the easiest things that any player can do. Yeah, just not worth it. Number 45, Crumble Logos, the Prophet of Destruction, or its demolition actually, is a very good effect negator, but it is actually a bit difficult to summon due to it requiring level 2 monsters, and it's a zombie level 2 monsters, and zombies usually do not run level 2 monsters all that much other than Plague Spreader Zombie, although it helps that it has very high values for a level 2 monster, so yeah. Number 46, Dragluon, is a very good rank 8 dragon support card. Basically, any dragon deck can actually consistently run him and suffer no slowdown whatsoever. Number 47, Nightmare Shark, is a part of the Shark archetype, which I took a look at yesterday. Number 48, Shadow Lich, is a very weird token spawner. Number 49, Fortune Tune, is a interesting rank 3, which focuses on gaining life points and shuffling stuff into the deck. Number 50, Blackship of Corn, is one of the most played rank 4 plant type monsters in the game, and it might even still see play today. Number 51, Finisher, the Strong Arm, is a very weird rank 3, whose summoning materials do not help it in terms of its overall usefulness. Number 52, Diamond Crab King, was an unexpected counter and the only counter to Apocryph or Towers. Number 53, Heart Earth, is a card I took a look at when I took a look at the Garbage archetype, which you can check out as well. Number 54, Lionheart, is interesting, but even more interesting was its anime version. Number 55, GOGOGO Goliath, is a part of the Onomatopoeia archetype, which I already took a look at, like I mentioned before. Number 56, Gold Rat, is something that we used to call a better version of Illuminite back in the day, due to it being essentially Illuminite, but instead of requiring level 4 monsters, it requires level 1 monster, and instead of sending stuff to the graveyard, it shuffles them back into the deck. But nowadays, that kind of concept is reversed due to the fact that you mostly want to use this on Nomi monsters or stuff or Garnets that you do not want to grace your hand, while the Illuminite is more useful for the fact that you get to set up your graveyard with stuff that have very decent graveyard effects. Number 57, Tri-Head Dust Dragon, is I honestly do not know how to describe him. It's the definition of a one-trick pony and a gimmicky attack gainer, which all relies on your opponent in order to do stuff. So yeah, the fact that it also requires 3 level 4 monsters doesn't help it in the slightest. Number 58, Burner Visor, is a card which ironically plays into the hand of a certain Xyz monster, which we'll get to in just a minute. So yeah, it combos well with that monster. Well, you can always use them with other monsters as well, but yeah, they even reference this in the anime as well. So yeah. Number 59, Crooked Cook, is a very interesting concept of a monster getting immunity while he's by himself on the field, which I honestly wish they expanded upon because it's actually a very interesting gimmick. Number 60, Drug, is the Timeless, is one of the best rank 4s to ever grace the game in recent years, as it has 3 very good effects, and is basically the reason why Inzectors have a second turn in today's game, which has sped up to the point of being too fast for the OG Inzectors in some cases, well, in most cases. Number 61, Volcasaurus, is a very great rank 5, which saw heavy competitive play at one point, so yeah, thumbs up for this one definitely. Number 62, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, is part of the Galaxy archetype, which I took a look at in an earlier video. Number 63, Shamoji Soldier is has a very dumb life point gaining concept on a rank 1 monster. Number 64 is part of the Raccoon archetype, which I covered earlier, so go check out that video if you're really interested. Number 65, Jin Buster is okay by the definition. Is perfectly fine, as it basically has the effect to massively stop monster effects, along with providing some decent burn damage. 500 is not much, but again, it's okay. Its chaos version, King Overfiend, is a bit better due to it being more of a full blanket negate rather than just stopping one effect per at a time. Number 66, Master Key Beetle, is always a welcome addition in any Dark XT spam deck, because the amount of utility it can provide to you is simply amazing. Number 67, Paradise Smasher, is just like the number 7 Lucky Strike, another very gimmicky gamble card. This one is a bit more specific due to the fact it requires level 5 monsters instead of level 7 monsters. Number 68, Sanafon, the Sky Prison, is okay, but nothing too special. Number 69, Heraldry Crest, besides being my favorite number monster, is also part of the Heraldic Beast archetype, which I took a look at in an earlier video. Is the same version. The same goes for the Chaos version as well. Number 70, Malevolent Sin, is also the part of the Sin Spider lineup, which, yeah, it's a rank 4, meaning it's if you're playing them pure, this is the monster you need to go into first before going into all the other ones. Not to mention, it also has the effect which basically allows the spiders to do their thing inside their own set of cards. Number 71, Rebarian Shark, is a card I took a look at yesterday in the Shark archetype analysis. Number 72, Shogi Rook, is a bit on the stale side due to it only working on set cards. So yeah, not to mention this is also a rank 6 monster. So yeah. Number 73, Abyss Splash, is a card that the Shark decks can actually very consistently summon, but the downside is, of course, the no damage taking. But again, it can rise up to be a near 5,000 attack beatstick, which is nothing to scoff at. And there are also other ways to boost its attack even beyond that. So yeah, it's a very potent form of a beatstick. Its chaos version functions more like a Supreme King's Servant Dark Rebellion, as in it basically drains the attack rather than himself gaining attack. Then also it has protection while the original Abyss Splash is under it. So yeah. Number 74 reminds us once again of the glory days that Dragon Rulers used to have. Number 75, Bamboozling Ghoststep Shadow, is responsible for putting Rongominiad back on the ban list. Number 76, Harmonizer Gradiel, is an attribute, a gimmicky attribute boss monster for rank 7 decks that can afford to run her. Number 77, the 7 Sins, well, and that's a mouthful of sevens, is the prime boss monster of the Sin Spider lineup of monsters. So yeah, this is the monster that they always go into last, having a very impressive 4,000 attack and a very powerful effect, which is very good in Gimmick Puppets and of course in its own lineup of monsters. Number 78, Number Archive, is meant to give you access to any number monster, which is cute, but I find this concept ultimately pointless. Number 79, Battling Boxer Nova Kaiser, is part of the Battling Boxer archetype, which is a video I did a long time ago, so take a look at that when you can. Number 80, Rhapsody in Berserk, is another one of those extra deck equipable monsters, which is fine for what it is. And of course, its Chaos version is a bit better when it comes to the overall utility. Number 81, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Super Dora, is a part of the Rank 10 Train archetype, which I already took a look at. Number 82, HEARTLANDRACO is an okay rank 4. Basically, if it's a rank 4 and has an okay effect, it's bound to be okay. So yeah, it's a decent lockdown if anything. Number 83, Galaxy Queen is part of the Sparrow family archetype, which I took a look at earlier as well. Number 84 is the last of the Synth Spider lineup, and it's the middle piece between number 35 and number 77, with the starting piece being number 70. So yeah, and this one is among the three sandwich spiders, I want to call them, stack up spiders, whatever. This one is my least favorite due to it relying on defense points a bit too much for my comfort. So yeah. Number 85, Crazy Box, is yet another gamble card, which I honestly do not understand why they have felt the need to make so many gamble cards all of a sudden. So yeah, this one is at least a rank 4 with 3000 attack, so it's not that bad. If anything, it can serve as a decent beat stick. Number 86, Heroic Champion Ronkominiad is currently banned. I already mentioned him in the Heroic Champion archetype analysis, so take a look at that video. Number 87, Queen of the Night, has amazing artwork, but is tied to a set of cards which is not all that impressive in my opinion. And not to mention, it requires 3 level 8 monsters, which is another insult to injury here. Number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Leo, is a part of the Gimmick Puppet archetype as well as its Chaos version. Number 89, the Mind Diablos, this Mind Hacker, is very interesting due to it being a straight counter to Pot of Desires, which is a heavily played card in the meta. So yeah, and not to mention it's also a powerful rank 7. So yeah, that's an additional usefulness for the card. I feel like this card was made as powerful as it is just to counter all those people who are playing Pot of Desires and banishing their entire deck face down. So yeah, this is essentially a staple for anybody who is going up against Pot of Desires decks. So yeah. Number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, is part of the Galaxy archetype, which I took a look at earlier. Number 91, Thunder Spark Dragon, is a card which you need to put in some additional effort in order to get all of its effects out, because it requires detaching the number of materials which is higher than the amount of monsters it requires for its summons. So yeah, you need to put in some extra work with stuff like overlay regen and stuff like that in order to get him to work. Number 92, Heart Earth Dragon, is a card I took a look at in the Garbage archetype analysis and as well as its Chaos version. Number 93, Utopia Kaiser, is part of the Utopic Onomatopoeia archetype, which I also took a look at. Number 94, Crystal Zero, is part of the Shark archetype, which I also took a look at yesterday, as well as the full armored Crystal Zero Lancer, which is also a powered up version. Number 95, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon, is also a part of the Galaxy archetype, which I took a look at earlier. Number 96, Dark Mist, is one of the first ever rank 2 monsters and one of the most formidable rank 2 builds that used to exist, but nowadays rank 2 builds are very scarce and they're not very competitive. And the same goes for its Chaos version, which is actually not that worth going into, since the original one is better in some aspects. Not all, but some aspects are better on the original rather than the Chaos version. Number 97, Dragluoon, is one of my personal favorite number monsters due to the amount of utility it can offer, and the most notable targets for this thing are either a monster which we'll mention quite soon, or another monster which we'll mention a bit later. So yeah. Number 98, Antitopian, is a part of the Utopia archetype, which I already covered, same as number 99, Utopic Dragon and Utopia Dragner. And also number 100, Numeron Dragon, is part of the Numeron archetype, which is the archetype in which the first 4 number monsters fall into as well. And this is actually one of the most decent targets to go into with Dragluoon Dragon. So yeah. All right. Now we move on to what we have Yeah, originally number monsters are supposed to be from 1 to 100, from 0 to 100, I should say. But due to a plot line in the second half of ZEXALE, the so-called Barian numbers came into the play. The numbers from 101 to 107, because yeah, 7 Barian emperors and all that. And yeah, each of them has its own chaos version. And yeah, let's start off with the first one, which is number 101, Silent Honor Arc, which was the be-all, end-all removal of all things that were immune to battle destruction. And this thing is still a potent removal option even to this day. And not to mention, it's generic, has very good protection, and it's overall easy to summon. Its chaos version is better, but the fact that you need to run a rank up magic in order to get it out means it's a bit too slow for its own good, so it didn't see as much play as its original version. Number 102, Star Seraph Sentry, is part of the Star Seraph archetype, which I took a look at earlier, as well as its chaos version. Number 103, Ragna Zero, is again one of those cards which have functions exactly the same as Chronomaly Machu-Mech, although this one is focused on destruction rather than burden damage. And its chaos version is a slight step up, but overall it's a very similar kind of usefulness to like the base version. Number 104, Masquerade, is part of the Umbral Horror archetype, which I took a look at earlier, as well as its chaos version. Number 105, Battling Boxer Star Cestus, is part of the Battling Boxer archetype, as well as its chaos version. So yeah, take a look at those videos. Number 106, Giant Hand, is a part of the Hand archetype, which I also took a look at earlier. And chaos, and its chaos version is something I would call better, but it would be a lot better if the effect wasn't mandatory. So yeah. Not to mention, Giant Hand, the original Giant Hand was actually a prize card which was released after the upgraded version. Why are companies doing that when they release lesser version, so to speak, after the so-called improved version? Why is it doing that? And finally, we have number 107, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, and its chaos version, which are both part of the Galaxy Eyes archetype, so of the Galaxy archetype period. And yeah, I already took a look at them, and this is the second most potent target to summon off Dragluobion Dragon. So yeah, it's definitely a card to consider. And before we move on to the final two number monsters, yeah, this felt like forever. I've been recording for how long now? Let me just check. 33 minutes, and these weren't even full-out reviews. So yeah. Before we move on to the final set of number monsters, we have Chaos Xyz Varian Hope. This is basically a precursor to the arrival at Ignister from Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains, as it basically served the same purpose, and that duel held a similar power struggle, so to speak. And yeah, this in the anime this thing kicks ass, while in the real game it's a very gimmicky boss monster, which takes a bit too much of your time and effort to actually bring out to its fullest potential. So I wouldn't personally bother with it. And finally, the final two number monsters are Chaos number 1000 Numeronius and Chaos Imaginary number 1000 Numeronia, which of course kicked ass hard in the anime, but in the actual game they are not worth considering. But even though the Numeronia has the exact same effects, but it specifically needs to be summoned off of Numeronius, the original Numeronius, in order to receive the effect. So yeah, not to mention these two are very easily removable. So yeah, at least it goes with the highest honor of being able to gain 100,000 attack and defense, which is ironically amazing, but considering how the real card functions, it's not that amazing. Okay, that was all of the number monsters, and now it's finally time to take a look at their spell and traps. First of all, we have Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, which is a special Rank Up Magic made for the Barian number monsters, meaning numbers from 101 to 107. And to activate this card, you must draw it for your normal draw in your draw phase and reveal it. And keep it revealed until the start of the main phase 1. And at the start of your main phase 1, that same turn, you can special summon from your extra deck or graveyard one monster that has a number from between number 101 and number 107 in its name, except Nana and Chaos number monster. And then you can XC summon from your extra deck a Chaos number monster with the same number in its name as the first monster by using it as the XC's material. And you can only use this effect once per duel. So basically, this is the only Rank Up Magic that highly benefits from Rebarian Shark's effect. To iterate on that from yesterday's video. The downside, of course, is that you specifically need to draw it for your normal draw, which can slow down the deck exponentially, but hey, that's what Rebarian Shark is for. But you have to be careful. This needs to be the very first thing you activate at the start of your main phase 1, otherwise the effort goes to waste. So yeah, if you're playing a 7th one turbo, this is a nice card to consider. So yeah, it can serve as shortcut for some of the monsters which are harder to bring out among the ones, but genuinely those monsters are easy enough to get out by traditional means. So this is not as necessary, but still it's a very okay card to consider, at least side decking if anything. Next up, we have Glorious Numbers. If you control no monsters, you can target one number Xyz monster in your graveyard and special summon it, then draw one card. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target one number Xyz monster you control, attach one card from your hand to it as material, and you can only use each effect of Glorious Numbers once per turn. It's okay if you play a whole lot of number monsters. This is actually a very good monster reborn for the archetype, along with letting you go +1. So yeah, and it also has a decent graveyard effect, securing some additional Xyz materials. So yeah, it's a good card. And the final spell card that we have today is Memories of Hope. Draw cards equal to the number Xyz monsters with different names you control, and you can only activate one of these per turn. Now, this thing is actually semi-limited in the OCG, and that is for a very good reason, because this thing usually meant that you could draw 1 or 2 cards in the early days of the ZEXALE era, where you normally used to have only 1 or 2 number monsters. But this effect was made significantly more powerful with the release of the 4 Numeron gates, which could be summoned all at once with their own support cards, meaning you get to go +4 in card advantage, which is probably the reason why this thing is semi-limited, but only in the OCG, while in the TCG it's completely fine at 3 copies. So yeah, maybe then because they banned the Shining Number 0 Utopic ZEXALE, which was made again very easy to summon with the release of Numeron gates. So yeah. This is a good card to consider running in your Numeron Gate deck. So yeah, go wild. Now we go on to the trap cards. First of which we have Purge Ray. Tribute one Xyz monster during the end phase, special summon from your extra deck one number monster with the same type, but 1 rank lower as the tributed monster had when it was on the field. This one has a potential to spawn you a very powerful monster, but it's a bit too specific for my own liking. First of all, it requires tributing specifically an Xyz monster in order to get its effect off. Not to mention that you're restricted to a number monster with the same type, but it needs to be a rank lower. So meaning you're summoning a weaker monster most often than the monster that you tributed. Not to mention that you need to specifically watch out what you're summoning, because yeah, sometimes the monster you might need might not be the same type, or be a rank lower, or basically it won't be in the scope that you are currently working with. So yeah, not to mention this is a trap card, so yeah, it's a bit too slow. Next up we have Number Wall, which is a continuous trap, and then you can only activate it while you control a number monster, and number monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects and cannot be destroyed by battle except with another number monster. When a number monster you control is destroyed, destroy this card. So essentially, this thing basically gives the card effect protection to number monsters and grants them their enemy effects, where only number monsters are able to destroy them by battle. So yeah, not too impressive. So I will not remain here for much longer. Next up, we have their newest piece of support, Numbers Protect, a counter trap, which says when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control a number exceeds monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If a number exceeds monster you control is destroyed by battle or a card effect while this card is in the graveyard, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use one Numbers Protect effect per turn and only once that turn. A counter trap which has the potential to reset itself is always an amazing idea, and not to mention that this thing is actually very easy to activate. You just need to control a number monster, and it does not matter which number monster it is. So yeah, this is a definite staple if you play a whole bunch of number monsters. And our final card for today is Numbers Overlay Boost. Target one number exceeds monster you control that has no exceeds materials. Attach two monsters from your hand to that face-up exceeds monsters as exceeds materials. If it was attached any two cards, I would have called this one really good, but the fact that it specifically requires monsters and the fact that it needs presence in your hand in order to pull this off, I would have loved this if it allowed you to pull from the graveyard as well. But yeah, this makes it not that worth running in my opinion, so yeah. As for the grading, well, since this is a bit more of a collection of boss monsters that are not supposed to synergize with each other, nothing will be getting 1 out of 3, anything above 1 out of 3, except for the versatility due to the fact that numbers are pretty much playable in almost any deck you can imagine. Some of them are even part of their own archetypes. So yeah, versatility will be getting a 2 out of 3. So yeah, and this should be again one of the last archetype analysis that I do in a longer while. So yeah, among the other videos that I have planned for the in the near future, I'll be going on a holiday next week, and I should be constructing a new character duel in that time, because it's the only request that has remained active for now, because I cleared out all the other ones. So yeah, after I do that request, I expect to for the request to quiet down a bit, because yeah, I'm currently working in my office job, and it's a regular 8-hour job, and I do not have that much time to tend to character duels. So yeah, I'm also getting very close to finishing up the Fate series. I only have 3 episodes of Fate Extra remaining, and the whole Fate Grand Order to flourish in. So after I finish up with Fate, I'll be returning to the gameplay side of the channel, and I'll be starting off my first ever run through of Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, and I really can't wait to sink my teeth into that. So yeah, until next time, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and updates. Come like and subscribe. Be sure to check out my Patreon when you got the time. Maybe drop a few donations if you feel like it. And I'll see you all, and have a good day. Peace.